final score, Cardiff City 1, Wrexham 2. And hello there, Adram Premier. We're Wrexham, and we've come to blow your tiny little minds. Oh my word. That felt so good. And I've often been asked, what it feels like doing the little commentaries on Wrexham. And I always felt that because you try and focus on doing a job, the lows don't feel as low because you're trying to think about explaining why it's happening. But then the highs often don't feel quite so high because rather than going crazy in the crowd, I'm again trying to focus on explaining what's happening. Well, not true with the women's team, if I'm honest with you. The last few weeks have just been a delight, and before I even begin to talk about the game, I mean, goodness me, let's just have a quick think about what we've achieved. And we're going from a low point of dropping points against Cardiff Met and looking like getting into the top half for the second phase is impossible, to nailing it, absolutely nailing it, making it, and now making one heck of a splash. So 3 weeks ago, we'd never beaten Cardiff, we'd never beaten Swansea, and you couldn't help but worry that it's going to be a complex developing here, as we often played well against them, but something would go wrong. These weren't thrashings; these were competitive matches, but the other side always seemed to be able to come up with something. Well, that talk's over now, isn't it? Because we've beaten Swansea twice, including a 5-0, which could have been more. And we've beaten both Swansea and Cardiff on their home grounds. Absolutely astonishing. We've done brilliantly. And can I just emphasise, Cardiff are an excellent team and they will win the league this season. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But we're playing at such a level at the moment that if the league started now, it would be very interesting. This was an outstanding performance. Actually, before I go on to that, I need to say one other thing, which is something I've already said on social media, but it's important. The class and dignity after the game that Cardiff showed, and indeed before the game, they're good hosts, really meant something. The queue of people coming to shake hands afterwards just to say, well done, we know that means a lot to you and you deserved it. And that was brilliant. It was really classy. And they handled it very, very well. And they respect what we are looking to do just as we respect them. So it was a nice feeling there of two very strong teams coming together and being able to acknowledge, fair enough, fair outcome. Anyway, let's get on to the game, shall we? So we had a few niggling injuries coming into it from last match against TNS, but we were pretty much all right in terms of who we were able to select. Karen Allen was okay and able to start. So, strong team from the outset. Lily Jones, the one change. She was fit enough to start this time. She, of course, had to start on the bench in the last game. And we started very well. Cardiff, it's interesting, isn't it? Because so often we've looked to spring a little bit of a surprise at the start of a Cardiff match just to see if we can catch them out a touch. And it's worked. We've given them problems at the start of games. It was interesting that Cardiff sprung the surprise this time, changing their shape. As if they were aware, Wrexham are in terrific form and they're coming, we need to maybe do something to catch them out. It didn't work. The first half, Wrexham were the strongest team. We were excellent in the first half. Now, of course, the issue with Cardiff is that they're really good. They have high quality players and they are always likely to grab a goal, even if the game's not going against them, because when they go forwards, are players who take chances. And that's essentially the story of the first, half hour, because we basically are well on top, and then after half an hour, Cardiff score. But our reaction to that is the sort of spirit that we've shown throughout, either in microcosm, in moments like this where something's gone wrong in the game, and also the bigger picture of fighting back despite the fact that we were constantly playing well and not getting the results we deserve, but sticking to it. So yeah, we start off really well. In fact, Karen Chamberlain, who was made a string of brilliant saves in the second half when we lost 4-1 at Cardiff in the phase one, was immediately busy and immediately showing her quality. Suckley and Iddenden up front were terrific. Suckley first, dropping to our 4th minute, working a good ball out wide to Cara Jones. She goes driving into the right channel. There are players unmarked at the far post, so the cross was an option. But to be fair, Suckley's pass has set Cara Jones up nicely, and she's got to go for goal. Strikes it well. Good save by Chamberlain because she stands up. I know it sounds a bit obvious, but so often goalkeepers will go down a bit too early, and as a result, a powerful shot under the bar is going to beat them. But Chamberlain stands up really well and makes a good save. And then she's brought into action a couple more times in the first 20 minutes. This time, her speed off her line and her high starting position are what allow her to intervene really well. Firstly, lovely pass by Lily Jones, who gets the ball about 35 yards out. Abby Iddenden is making a run for her down the right channel. It's a difficult pass to get right. I mean, it's tempting to players because if you get it right, Iddenden's totally clear. But the angle is such that you're going to have to drop it absolutely perfectly with perfect pace, or it'll just run through. Lily nails it. Nearly. It would have worked. She drops it right in front of Iddenden, but Chamberlain is so quick off her line and just gets there first. I mean, good work by her. And we do that again. Firstly, Lily in midfield, making a good stooping header to win possession. Finds Iddenden, and again Iddenden, this time she's the provider, threading a ball down that same channel. Suckley is on the charge this time, and again, the only reason she doesn't get there and score is Chamberlain's speed off the line. But don't worry, it'll come. Spoiler alert. There's a frantic spell of play halfway through the first half where the game gets completely stretched and both sides have promising situations. Karen Allen willing the ball well on the halfway line, and typically she isn't going to turn down an opportunity to drive forward, so she does. She lays the ball off, and it's a lovely bit of combination passing. Cairns helping it to Widdenden, who flicks it round the corner. Allen has continued her run and is now in a position where she can put something really dangerous into the box. She looks to drive it in, but Collie, dropping deep, manages to intercept it, and she immediately feeds it on. Jenkins, as well, helps it onto Keogh. Keogh keeps it moving. Billingham on to Collie on the right channel. She's got a real chance here. But Casey Sharp, who a minute earlier had done brilliantly covering across the back line to put pressure on and stop a shot, does it again. Really good pace, drives across. And although Collie gets the shot off, Sharp's pressure makes sure that she hits it wider than near post. Great defending by Katie Sharp when we were left a bit open. It was 3-on-3, but she dealt with it so well. We then went up the other end, and there's a real moment of drama as, again, Allen stepping out from the back, feeding it across to Lightfoot. Lightfoot works it down the line for Suckley, and Lightfoot continues her run into the box. Suckley, beautiful piece of setup play. There's defenders all round her on the edge of the area, but she's very calm. She waits for Lightfoot, and again, it's like that Lily Jones pass. You've got to wait it perfectly. Lightfoot's quite close, but she's bursting through the last line, and she rolls a pass with just perfect pace, so Lightfoot can take it in her stride and has a real chance to on goal. Shannon Evans, who was utterly outstanding in the heart of Cardiff's defence when we beat them 4-1, comes tearing desperately across, makes a tackle that is from completely the wrong angle. You know, Lightfoot's almost past her, and she just manages to bring her leg around. You think this is a penalty. It's got to be. The way she's going in, she's got to play Lightfoot. Lightfoot goes down. I'm thinking cast iron penalty. Good decision by the referee, because it isn't. When you look back at the replays, I mean, it's so close. And like I said, Evans has gone in from the wrong angle, but she has managed to toe poke the ball away. She then does make contact on Lightfoot. Lightfoot doesn't dive. She is knocked off her feet. But although I appreciate that, you know, you can play the ball and still commit a foul, this was just an astonishingly well-judged tackle. Otherwise, either Lightfoot scores or it's a penalty. But yeah, fair play to Evans. She gets it spot on, which is kind of crazy. But we keep going. We're really, really pushing hard. We had another good opportunity. Lovers with the throw in. Suckley heads it on. Idendon picks her up, lovely first touch, and works it on to Suckley. And Suckley cuts inside onto her right foot and tears in the most beautiful cross, drops it between the centre backs. Nat Clark has made a really well timed run, free header 8 yards out. She looks to just lift it over the keeper and put it in the top corner and doesn't quite get enough on it. It's still sharp feet and quick hands by Chamberlain to hold on to it, mind. But Clark really looking to do the right thing, is a little bit unlucky, but Chamberlain gets across and to stop it. But on the half hour, like I said, Cardiff have shown very little. They score. It starts off with Boyd hitting a long ball forwards. Colley gets there on the right hand side, puts in a cross. It's an awkward one, and Allen at the far post can only volley it back in the direction it came from. Keogh picks it up, tightish angle, drills it in, a good block, deflects it over the bar, but the corner leads to the goal. Frustrating one for Wrexham. The corner comes in. It's a nasty one. Craven does really well backpedaling to get to the far post and get a hand onto it to push it clear. The ball comes back in. There's a scramble around the penalty spot, and it looks like we're okay. Cara Jones has done well to get a foot in to nudge it away, and Cairns looks like she's about to latch onto it and get the ball clear. But a Cardiff player does really well from the blind side, sliding in and getting a toe to it just before Cairns can get there. It comes out to Billingham, and Billingham, I mean, scores a magnificent goal. She's about 25 yards out. The strike is perfect. It goes to a crowd of players and is right in the bottom left corner. Craven has no chance whatsoever. Superb strike. And like I said, that's the point, isn't it? Their quality. And so even when they're under the cosh, Cardiff can just come up with a player who'll do something like that and we're behind. And lesser teams than us would have folded at that point. But we don't. Because as I think we've proven over the last few weeks, we don't do folding. We are straight back at them. Suckley feeding the ball out wide to Cara Jones, who, I don't know. She scored 2 goals in 2025 from what looked like crosses, starting to convince me that she's meaning it. This one, she nearly scores again with one. I think this is a cross. Just look at the way she hits it. I think she's just sliced it a little bit. And also because we've got 2 players unmarked at the far post, so I think the logical thing to do, and she gets her head up and she has time to set herself and drill it, is to look for the far post. So I think she just slightly mishits it. I've got to say though, Chamberlain didn't have it covered. If that had just dropped about a foot further forwards, it would have been a goal. No criticism of Chamberlain, by the way, on that. I always annoys me when people say goalkeepers are being humiliated when the mishit cross goes over their head and goes in. I mean, the only way you can save those is to be completely out of position. And if you spend your whole career playing completely out of position as a goalkeeper, I promise you, you'll let in a hell of a lot more goals than the ones you save from taking on target mishit crosses. But anyway, we don't have long to wait because in the 39th minute we do get evil, and this is a equal, and a little bit evil, let's be honest. And this again, a very, very gratifying goal. Craven, whose kicking is superb, puts a long ball out onto the right hand side. It's nodded on, but Idendon is apparently chasing a lost cause. The defender looks like she may get there first, and Idendon's going to do ever so well to keep the ball in. Never mind do something constructive with it. She has to hit it first time when it crosses the line. She gets there and she plays the perfectly weighted assist to Suckley. And this is that right channel that we've been probing all along. Idendon puts it in there. Perfect weight. Chamberlain again comes off her line really quickly. But the quality of the volleyed pass is such. Suckley gets there first. And it's a lovely, cool finish. I've seen a lot of people on Ask Wrexham comparing it to Sam Smith's goal on Saturday for the men's team. Yeah. Chamberlain, great one-on-one keeper, is coming out really quickly, and Suckley keeps her cool and picks her spot and rolls it beyond her. Great finish, great celebration as well. And we're ahead. We're level. Within a minute, we could have been ahead. Us again attacking on the right-hand side. Idendon putting it across. It's blocked straight back to her. She pulls a nice ball into the goal mouth at the near post. Suckley does well to get there and makes good contact with a volley, but Chamberlain makes an excellent save. She makes herself big and she's able to parry it Really, I mean, close to being 2 goals in 2 minutes for Suckley, and the game completely turning on its head. It will, don't worry. We have another opportunity, an annoying one in some ways for me, in the 44th minute, because Suckley has to go off because she's been fouled. Again, please, if someone can genuinely explain how this rule is sensible or fair, please let me know. So Suckley is hurt by a foul. She has to have treatment, so she has to go off the pitch for 30 seconds, even though her crime is getting kicked. Lily Jones steps up with the free kick and puts a beauty into the far post. It's horrible to defend. A defender gets up and can only head it back across the face of her own goal. Brooke Cairns is more alert than any of the other defenders, races after it. It's an impossible angle. She's close in, but she's not got any real chance to test her keeper. But she does know Chamberlain's got to rush across to stop that possibility, and Cairns does really well to reach it and hook it back into the danger area. Jenkins, under the bar, just about gets it clear, and Iddenden has a header from 8 yards out, which unluckily for Wrexham is too close to Chamberlain, who's rotating back into the middle of the goal, and she's able to hold on to it. Crazy scramble. Like I say, Ava Suckley, a player who scores lots of goals, a player who wins a lot of headers, and this is head tennis, has to be off the pitch. If we had an extra player anyway in that goal mouth, we well have scored. If we had the player who scores the most goals in the goal mouth for us and scores with headers, we may well have scored. It's, I can't prove it, but what a stupid rule. Anyway, half time, 1-1, but Wrexham looking really good, and a further indication of that is Cardiff make a half time substitution and change their shape back to what they played in the previous match, and they will continue to tinker with their formation in the face of our performance. It's partially, it's not really all that successful. The opening stages of the half are fairly similar. There's an opportunity, a huge moment for Billingham. Long ball forwards, takes an awkward bounce about 25 yards out, and Billingham does well to get onto it, turn and drill a terrific curling shot, which he sets outside the right post. It comes back in, hits the post and bounces clear. Craven's down really quickly. She may have had it covered, but it's a super strike by Billingham. And if that had gone in, well, it certainly would have tested our resolve once more. Not that we've had too many problems with that lately. And we go back the other end 3 minutes later and we take the lead. It's Suckley again, cutting in from the left-hand side, ripping in a vicious cross with the right foot. Jenkins gets ahead to it. It seems to nearly knock her out. It's such a good strike on the cross. She gets ahead to it or puts it straight up in the air in the goal mouth. Cara Jones is so smart. I mean, it's great work. It's an assist without touching the ball. She knows Chamberlain is going to be the big favourite as she can use her hands to get there ahead of her, and she can't really challenge her probably and get anything out of it. She knows that if she backs in and fouls Chamberlain, the ref's going to be quick to give on the whistle. She does perfectly. She gets in the way without fouling or obstructing. And as a result, Chamberlain has to let it bounce. And when a centre-back lets the ball bounce, they're in trouble. A goalkeeper lets it bounce, they're in major trouble. The ball comes back to Iddenden, who hits it on the stretch from just outside the 6-yard box. It looks like it's in. In fact, look at the highlights if you haven't already. All the subs, and 4 of the 5 have been with Wrexham for the journey for a long, long time. You know, they've been there before the takeover. These are people who have committed to the club. They're jumping. We've scored. I called it as a goal. I thought she'd scored. It hits the post and ricochets straight back out, and Iddenden did ever so well because she's off balance now. She was on the stretch in the first shot. She manages to stretch again, and with defenders on the line, still prod it beyond them and into the net. And we've got the lead. 56th minute. And can I just point out, that's the first time we've ever been in the lead against Cardiff City. Obviously, they start to come at us. They don't really get a great rhythm going. Barry is the player who's come on at half-time, and she's playing really well, attacking from midfield as they work through different little shapes and formations to try and catch us out. But she's driving forwards well, and she looks their greatest threat, to be honest, coming from a bit deeper than the strikers. Twice, Cardiff get into promising positions. First, Allen denies them with a great tackle, and then a few moments later, Erin Lovett does exactly the same. They do have a moment when Barry carries the ball well from midfield and from 25 yards out, drills a really good shot. It's going inside the left post, but Lizzie Craven gets down, super save, palms it round the post. I've got to say, and I've repeated this a lot, that 4-1 game, when we lost at Cardiff in December, one of the main takeaways from that was Karen Chamberlain's the best keeper in the Adran Premier by a mile. She's a really good goalkeeper. And yet, I feel now, and this is not a negative comment on Chamberlain again at all, I now feel like she's one of the two best goalkeepers in the division, because the way Lizzie Craven's playing at the moment, good lord, that's a quality save by her. We go up the other end and forge a chance. Again, it's created initially by Hart. Lily Jones refuses to give up, pressing by the corner flag, and ultimately forces a mistake. The ball comes back out. Cairns with a great pass in midfield to pick out Lightfoot in space down the left-hand side. She plays the ball in. Cardiff have to battle. They half clear. They look like they're going to get it clear. Cara Jones steps in with an excellent challenge to win the ball. She lays her off to Lily Jones and she hits a good first-timer from 25 yards. It's quite similar to Billingham's hit. The only difference being it's closer to Chamberlain, who's able to save it. Within a minute, Cardiff up the other end with maybe their best moments of the second half. Billingham again lively, Barry again available. Billingham finds her from the edge of the box, right channel. She drills a shot across the goal, goes just wide of the far post. But then, to be fair, within a minute, we are back at them. A terrific ball from Clark, who has dropped deep, who not only intercepts but punches the ball superbly to Indon on the left. Indon feeds the ball inside. Suckley does have the option of Brooke Cairns. He's made a great run to her right into the box. Suckley, though, is in great form and decides she's going for it and drills a powerful shot which goes just over the bar. Then again, Wrexham with a really nice move. Erin Lovett doing ever so well on the halfway line, left-hand side, turning away from a direct opponent, feeding the ball forwards. Great little touch around the corner by Suckley. Lightfoot, brilliant burst, gets past the full-back, cuts inside, gets into the box, runs down the goal line. Cara Jones has arrived completely unmarked at the far post. Also, Indon's made a run to the near. Lightfoot tries to drive it in there, and it's a great piece of defended by Jenkins. A full stretch, just about gets a foot on it at the near post and puts it behind for the corner. Or wait, one of those Wrexham players is going to tap it in. We make changes soon after that. Karen Allen comes off, Phoebe Davis comes on. Allen, what a warrior. But she's carrying knocks at the moment. She's done really well and fought her way through. And also Brooke Cairns, who took a heavy blow and was treated for quite some time in the first half, comes off. Mary Gibbard comes on. And we come under pressure in the last 10 minutes, naturally, as Cardiff come at us. But we defend well. We have to defend a lot of set pieces, and we all know Fionn Price is magnificent from set pieces. She plays as a full-back or wing-back, but she's the top scorer in the entire division. And the previous weekend, she scored direct from a corner against Britain Ferry. And she puts in some really threatening deliveries, and we defend it really, really well. And we also are more dangerous on the break. Davis with a terrific interception, picks out Gibbard. Gibbard helps it on to Iddenden, and she manages to make space and gets ahead up and spots Lightfoot making a terrific run, cutting in from the left. She rolls it in, superb interception by Long, the right back. Otherwise, Lightfoot's all on their own in the box. Another really nice pass, 1, 2, 3 passes, and we've sliced straight through Cardiff. Great movement of the ball. With 8 minutes left, Rosie Hughes comes on, perfect player to bring on in these situations, and Ava Suckley, who had, like I said, treatments at the end of the first half, and again, had taken a knock in the second, comes off. What a shift. And Rosie Hughes does have one chance. It's a half chance, to be fair. Again, it's Craven with a long kick, and Hughes using her pace outpaces the defenders. She's 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper in theory, but in practice the bounce is really big off the pitch, and as a result, by the time it's come down and she's able to really have it under control, she's been forced very wide. She still drills in the shot. She does well to get enough of a foot round it to steer it towards goal, but she can't get it on target. In the last minute, we change our shape. Erin Lovett comes off, Rebecca Pritchard comes on, we go to a flat back forward, Nat Clark sitting in front of it, so we're really setting ourselves up to defend that penalty area and close out the win. And we have 2 moments to survive. In the last minute, Price, with a free kick in their own half, launches it in. It's picked up by Kernock on the edge of the area. Sharp does brilliantly when the ball's played in by Kernock. Attacks it. Craven's coming out to try and get there. There's a striker going after it as well. Sharp can't afford to leave it to see if Craven makes it, and does really well at full stretch to prod the ball behind for a corner. And then from that corner, it's half cleared, but the ball comes back into the edge of the area, and Barry does well to carry it, manages to sidestep Gibbard and drills a shot, but puts it over the bar. Wrexham actually handle extra time well, where we don't let them create. There's a lot of good defending. There's a lot of great hold-up play. Iddenden and Hughes holding the ball up by the corner flags, and Cara Jones. And the final whistle goes to absolute delight, because if ever a group of players and a coaching staff deserved this, it's this Wrexham side. Utterly magnificent. Really can't tell you how proud and impressed and happy I am. Let's have a look at those performances. Again, spoiler alert, they're good. Like I said, Craven, spot on. She took a heavy blow as well. It was very worrying in the first half. She wasn't moving at first, but she got up and carried on, and again, was excellent. She had to deal with some awkward high balls. Their handling was excellent. She made that really good save to her right from Barry on the ball floor. Her work with her feet is terrific. Really gives you a lot of confidence, and she's a top keeper. The back three defended exceptionally well. Katie Sharp in the middle of that back three. I mean, is a stopper playing any better in that division right now? Because she's just hoovering up everything. She's aggressive. She's got a good sort of stretch on her to make interceptions, hard tackles, headers. She's just doing so well in that central role. It's outstanding to see. And her pace getting across to make those two, well, they weren't challenges, but just interventions where she forces player wide so they can't get a proper shot off. Great cover when there's gaps appearing. Erin Lovett continues this magnificent purple patch. She made a header in the first half that made the world shudder. It was such a perfectly timed contact. Such a warrior. I mean, really fought for absolutely everything. And she's always, I thought, good on the ball, but actually I think her passing's improved in the second half of the season. She really has some nice constructive moments too. On the other side, yeah, I said warrior. Well, if you look it up in the dictionary, it's just a picture of Karen Allen, who constantly runs into challenges and through challenges and constantly makes challenges and puts his body on the line in order to get the best for the team. She's such a superb example, and again today, she's a release with the way she carries the ball forward. She did it a couple of times, really good effect, but she just, any striker up against her knows they've been in a war. Excellent performance again by her. The wing backs on the right hand side, Cara Jones continues her effervescent form. She's, such a worker for starters, and it's very difficult to play out from the back. Fionn Price, like I said, top scorer from the wing in the division, didn't get anything going creatively at all, because Jones was terrific picking her up and forcing her backwards, and then as well, quality on the ball too. Nearly scored another of her specialist wide shots. I have to ask her if they're deliberate. Cara, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, I need to know. I'm going to interrogate you. But again, all action, constant, working around and making herself a nuisance when the other side had the ball and being threatening when we had it. On the other flank, again, Amber Lightfoot in great form. And I thought, especially in the second half, she started really getting around the sides. Cardiff were shifting their shapes, and while they were doing that, she was just looking for those pockets, getting in behind, especially, like I said, they switched to 3 at the back and the wing back, and that gave them more room. Long did well to recover to make that interception, or she'd have been in. She nearly teed up a chance at the end. Another excellent performance by Amber. In the centre of midfield, Nat Clark is just sheer class. I'd love to see passing accuracy stats, because she gets the ball under pressure in her own half, and her consistent hitting of teammates with good passes, short or long, her range of passing is really good. It's so impressive. It's so impressive. And of course, she reads the game well. She's strong in the challenge. She was extremely good. And, well, I mean, something I haven't mentioned yet that I should do. We achieved this result and indeed the win at Swansea without Liv Fuller, who is sheer class. But Fuller, like Clark, has that profile of can play and can defend and can read the game, and Clark can do those roles at the back of the midfield or in the centre of defence that Fuller does. And so huge credit to Clark. Another really high quality all-round performance. She took the armband when Karen Allen went off, and yeah, her leadership experience, presence is massive for us. In midfield alongside her, Lily Jones. It's just great to have her fit enough to start again after not being able to play the full 90 in the last two games. And yeah, she was very, very impressive indeed. As always, all those qualities are there, driving the play forwards, not scared to have a shot. That quality pass early on nearly gave us the first goal. But again, great all-round performance, and you know she's going to keep going. That pressing in the corner flag, you know, she's done 65, 70 minutes of non-stop running, and she's still making those runs to stop a player turning right by the corner flag. That's a quality you really want in a player on your team, isn't it? Brooke Cairns played slightly ahead of them. Took a horrible, heavy knock in the first half and did well to continue, never mind to continue to influence play. Again, just a touch is so good. She's so confident on the ball in tight positions. She just wants to show that it doesn't matter if she's got no time. She's still going to take a touch. She's still going to show her quality, and her use of the ball is so good. Running off the ball, I thought was very good in this match as well. She was pulling players away from the ball. She was making herself available. Didn't really get played in any promising positions, but another consummate all-round performance in the middle of the midfield. Up front, Suckley and Iddendon, I mean, absolutely on fire. They scored the 2 goals. Iddendon assists Suckley's as well. And between them, they just gave so many problems for Cardiff. I mean, Suckley's everywhere. So she really poses issues in terms of who's going to pick her up. Because she'll happily go wide, often to the left. She'll happily drop deep. She can play in midfield. And you can see Cardiff thinking, okay, who are we passing her on to? Do we pass her on? Do we stick with her? She finds space because of that willingness to drop off, and she's got such energy to keep it going. And then, of course, she's aggressive in her running when she's going forward. She's always looking for the chance for a shot. Massively threatening player. And yeah, was absolutely superb. I mean, how many times in describing attacks have I mentioned her name? Likewise, Iddendon, who is such a great technical player. And she'll drift off to the right and create spaces as well for players to break into. And they combine so well together. Brilliant. Superb front two. And like I said, both so mobile. Must be a nightmare to handle for a defence. And certainly Cardiff had major problems handling them and picking them up and working out exactly how to deal with their threat. Superb performances by both of them. I haven't picked a player of the match, have I? I haven't even thought about it. I don't know. There were so many superb performances. I think I might throw one in there in a second. I'm going to buy myself a little bit of thinking time by saying as well, the substitutes all made a contribution too. I've got to say, right, Phoebe Davis comes on. 16 minutes left. I'm always, just in principle, a little edgy if you're defending well to change that defensive unit. But Karen Allen clearly had to come off. You know, she's emptied the tank again in the service of the team. Phoebe Davis comes on, and you think, okay, well, you know, as a defender coming on as a sub, you need to be able to get onto the speed of the game instantly. Within a minute, the ball is dropped on the Cardiff left. It's a threatening ball. There's a player running onto it, and Davis just snaps in with the most superbly well-timed and brutal tackle. It's a clean tackle. It's not a foul. But he just said, okay, yeah, she's immediately up to speed because, you know, she loves that sort of thing. She wants to challenge. She wants to battle. It's a hell of a challenge. And it says, yeah, okay, Karen's gone off. I'm here now. Don't worry. So the normal service will be continued. She does get a yellow. And it was one of those admirable yellows where she's left exposed, the player is sprinting down the flank. She's got to stop her because it's a wing-back system. There's no one behind Phoebe. She goes in with the sort of challenge that, yeah, hopefully she'll get the ball, but if not, that player will not go past anyway. It's worth taking a yellow for, so that was important. Mary Gibbons came on and was in midfield replacing Brooke Cairns and looking to support the strikers, and again did well, had some nice little passes, nice little touches, but was conscientious dropping back off to cover as well when we didn't have the ball, which was important in the last 10 minutes. Rosie Hughes is perfect player to put on in that situation, of course, because she's fast, she'll chase everything and anything, she's smart, so she'll play players in or judge that it's wise to take her to a corner flag. And yes, she's a nightmare in that sort of situation for a defender as well. Yeah, they're so relieved. Oh gosh, Suckley's had to go off. Oh, and then Rosie Hughes is running at you, running past you, holding her up, playing nice little first time layoffs to Widdenden. Great stuff, great cameo. And then Rebecca Pritchard comes on right at the end and sees us through added time. It's interesting, and commentary you may have heard last week, talking to Lucy Scott, who played with Rebecca for Wrexham. And I was saying how, she has become a genuine option as an out and out right back, not a right wing back, but a right back. And Lucy was quite surprised to hear that, but you could see it in this game where she comes on. We've changed our defensive shape just to try and keep it tight till the end, and she comes on and does that job perfectly. Brilliant, brilliant stuff. 15 players used, 15 heroes to be carved into a statue at the racecourse when they build a new cop. That's my theory. I'm sticking to it. I'm going to email Populous right now. Player of the match. I am going to go for... I think I've got to go for one of the two strikers. I think I am going to go Suckley. But England's really good. And a lot of them really good. I'm going to go Suckley because, let's be honest, I'm not going to get arrested if I pick the wrong player. But there were so many players at a level where you could single them out and say outstanding. Maybe all of them, because that was an outstanding performance against by far and away the best team in the division. Or at least they were. Maybe we're in that equation now, eh? Brilliant stuff. I'm a happy chap. With the final score, I'm going to take a run up at this one. Cardiff City 1, Wrexham 2. I'm Mark Griffiths from Wrexham AFC.